Live. So, hello to people on Periscope, hello to people on YouTube, and simply to everybody out there, hello, Hola, Konnichiwa, Salaam, Ciao Namaste. Peace to all. This is the Pink Elephant in the Room conversation. And again, if you want to support the YouTube channel, you can watch it on the Soulology channel, as already put on Periscope as well, or you can watch it even on Periscope on I Am Soulology. But without any further ado, hey there. Without any further ado, we are going to be discussing about the importance of emotions. For most of us in today's society, you live in a patriarch society of what we've always been taught as being a man's world. A world of a dog eats dog world, as some people might say. You live in this world and we believe that this is it. This is just the way it is, that power is might and everything else in between, that is what makes us strong, when everything starts with inner peace. I actually talked about this on my YouTube channel. Inner strength, inner peace is where you grow who you are in getting such power in the first place. Power is unimportant. It is the strength that grows who you are as a person that makes you who you are. The amazing abilities of who you are. But to get into this point, before we even continue, for people on Periscope, if you have anything you want to add to the conversation, do not hesitate. Go ahead and add. And if you're enjoying this and this feels like it resonates with you, leave some hearts. And for the people on YouTube, just as well, leave something in the conversation. Leave a like if you feel it resonates with you. And without further ado, why are your emotions important? You see, we disregard our emotions because we believe they are, in a sense, separate in some way from us. Many people will say, I don't know why I have emotions in the first place, including me. I have said that personally because of feeling too emotional. But in order to understand the self, you need to be willing to self-center who you are as a person. Emotions were meant for you to understand the compass of who you are, what I call instinct and what women might call, for example, their intuition, what men might call their gut feeling. Women know this all too well. I've had discussions with people about this all the time, that they can feel it. But this doesn't mean men can't feel the same thing. Your emotions are the soul's ear, in a sense. In a small sense, because there's more to it than that when we're talking about the psychic energy and everything else in between. Your emotions are the soul's ear to hear what is going on around it. From any feeling of catastrophes going on around you, have you ever had that one person, or maybe it's even you, where you just feel like you may not want to leave the house because you just have this feeling that something's not right. So you stay inside and then you find out something happened not far from you. That's actually happened to me. Personally, in my experience, I lost somebody very close to me because I had a gut feeling. And at the time, I was terrified. I was terrified because I couldn't pinpoint what exactly it was that this feeling, what I call instinct, was. So I drove all the way home only to find that I lost a loved one. This is just an example. However, you all have the same ability. Your emotions can tell you more about who you are as a person than everything else in between. You go by 3 different stages when you use your thought process for anything, which is logic, intuition, and emotion. Intuition and emotion coexist, but all three of them coexist together as one because they're all vitally important in growing and creating who you are as a person. Your emotions help you to progress, evolve past who you are. And the most important emotions, and I've talked about this again on YouTube. If you want to check it out on YouTube, you can go to Soulology. These are 5 different emotions that are important to who you are as a person, which is fear, love, envy, grief, and the last one, and I apologize if I forgot. So we said fear, love, envy, grief. It'll come to me. But here, we'll go ahead and start with 4 out of the 5. Oh, and anger. Fear is important for you because of what it teaches you as a person. It is important for you to understand fear. Many people will tell you, for example, that if you're afraid of something, just rise against it. You're strong enough to get past it. However, what you have to think about is you have to allow whoever feels that feeling to run its course. If a person's afraid, let them understand their fears so they can go ahead and do what they need to accept that fear, instead of being afraid of it, because then it becomes unnatural and becomes panic. For example, when I used to go to college, I had several tests and schedules and everything, and one of the tests I did have was for a singing performance for opera. And I didn't have my resume, and all I had was a tablet to type it all up on. And I was panicking and shaking and everything else in between. Now, this was minuscule in comparison to what panic does to people. Panic changes you more into... People have harmed people due to panic. You can see it, for example, when you see what we consider happening, for example, what happened in New York City with the attack in New York on Halloween. You can see it with the Las Vegas attack. You can see it with the bombings in London. You can see it with the bombing that happened in Africa. The panic of... What panic does is bring desperation to believe that there's no other possible way to do what's necessary. There's nothing else you can do but do this one thing to harm other people, because you feel a situation has already gone too far. So you fear it so much so that you begin to panic it. Understanding your fear is what will grow you and allow you to truly surpass who you are. When I understood my fears in life, whether it be my goals in life, whether it be relationship-wise, whether it be just family-wise, when I understood that for what it is, me being a soul, taking time to do all these things, I was able to get past all of this. So, that's number 1, love. Love is important because it's naturally who you are. There's 2 elements, which is fear and love, but at the end of the day, love is all that is in the world of the planet because of who you are. You are God, you are Goddess, you are Creator. You are love at its highest form. Love at its highest form has no fear, has no care, but to be unconditionally caring. No matter the circumstances. It's never perfect, but... And of course, you have to understand not to betray yourself in between that, but love is truly who you are. But it becomes unnatural to who you are when it becomes possessiveness. People have harmed several people on the planet due to possessiveness and possessions. We believe we possess people in marriage, in relationships. We believe we possess homes. We believe we possess money. We believe these to be our possessions. And we become very possessive of it, and we feel that if someone tries to take it from us, that the only other option is to harm that person in order to gain what was ours to begin with. Our biggest problem due to not understanding this emotion is the fact that as unconditionally loving beings, naturally who you are, it is important to share amongst each other. When you realize within yourself that you have enough, that there's more than enough to go around with everybody around you, when you're willing to share that amongst each other, when you're willing to truly understand who you are, for example, like I always say, be your beingness. When you are being love, unconditional love, what does that make you think about? How are you acting towards that? Love is truly who you are. So be the love you know truly in your heart. Envy. Now, there's nothing wrong to be envious of someone. This is something that gets mixed up all the time with people. Envy is when you see, for example, someone else, let's say they are doing all they can for their goals, and you just want to be as good as they are. You want to rise to the occasion to be just as good as that. There's nothing wrong with that. However, the unnatural form of that would be jealousy. You see, in many examples, when we talk about, for example, masters, many masters have been killed due to jealousy of their enlightened masterhood and their enlightened godhood of who they are as a person. People have sought to kill people like that in their most highest peace because they do not have that type of peace. You see, what you see in others, you see in yourself. And when you see that emotion, that unnatural emotion of who you are, you go after people and harm them due to the fact of jealous emotions of you do not have what they have, so you seek to kill them to satisfy something. Satisfaction through this type of harm will not help you in any way, shape, or form. Many wars, many people have been harmed due to jealousy. When you see different nations fighting amongst each other, for example, and nations shouldn't even exist in the first place. When you see these nations fight against each other to say we're the bigger, better nation, and getting jealous of each other because one has more than the other, or one has certain things compared to the other, this is an example of what jealousy, the unnatural emotion of who you are, is. You are naturally envious. And that is okay to be envious because it allows you to bring the determination of who you are as a person to get to where you desire to go, your goals in life. This is a beautiful part of you. Grief. It is okay to grieve. I just explained I lost a loved one. Now, for some people, they might try to be strong, or as people would tell them, be strong. What you have to understand, it is naturally important for you to cry. It is naturally important for you to feel that feeling because it allows you to get past that, to feel the comfort of whatever hurts, whether it be a death in the family, whether it be a death with friends or family, or whether it be just losing something you really loved. Grieving about that helps you to get past that part and evolve past it. However, It becomes unnatural when it is chronic depression. I've been depressed about 4 years. Not now, as you can see. 2 separate years, for 2 years each, I was depressed. Chronic depression will make you feel a certain way about certain things in life, certain aspects of life that you see. You can feel uneasy and you switch emotions constantly. This unnatural emotion has caused several people to harm each other, several people to do harmful things that are unimportant. Wars have been started due to this. People have harmed each other due to the fact of situations that have gone too far. Chronic depression is not who you are. But when you grieve past all that, it allows you to push yourself forward, evolving who you are. If you've ever seen the movie, for example, Inside Out, it shows this perfect example of what I mean. You see, the girl had to cry all the memories she had to be able to get over the pains of what she had. She could not always be happy all the time. It's unimportant to be happy all the time when you need to grieve so you can smile. When you can get past a certain situation and cry your tears, no matter what it is. You see, when you bottle in everything, it allows you to do disturbing things. There have been school riots, for example, that have caused this. For one example, Virginia Tech is a perfect example of that. College, for many, can be a very stressful thing. Many people use drugs, or in America, for example, they have the opioid issue where drug use is a maximum due to, and that's only 1%, that's only one certain percentage of the area that uses that stuff, or even certain other drugs to keep themselves focused and try to get past whatever stress they have, as we call it stress management. This causes the harm that happens between people to feel how they feel in the first place. You have that going on. So you have to think why it's important for you to cry out your tears so you don't bottle that. To bottle that is, let's put it this way. As the Joker from Batman had said, it only takes one bad day. Bottling up your emotions on one bad day could cause that type of damage. And then you have anger. Anger is important. It is healthy for you to be angry because it allows you to express your own fears in action. It allows you to express your own emotions in action of how you feel about certain things, what you consider to say no about. So, anger is an important emotion. However, what is not important is your rage. Rage has caused all sorts of wars, all sorts of harm, and everything else in between. Rage, for example, I've even gotten into arguments where I've yelled so hard that I exhausted my own body. Rage is not good for the body, and it's not good for anybody else. Because at the end of the day, it's like holding a hot piece of coal. The only one who's going to get burnt is yourself. It's true. People have harmed people due to their own rage However, it's important for you to understand your anger so later on you're willing to accept when certain situations come up, when to be angry and when it's appropriate not to be angry. And this goes for all the emotions one way or another, for understanding each part of it. To be unconditionally loving, be unconditionally all the time. To be afraid, understand it. To be envious, understand why you feel that way and keep growing and evolving. To grieve about something, whether it be a death with relationships or the disappearance of some item that you have. And whether you are angry, understand who you are. Taking time to be aware, understanding of yourself, and taking patience to yourself is vitally important to understanding who you are as a person. Remember, to all of you, that you are all amazing. You are all beautiful. You are all divine. You are the gods, the goddesses, and the creators within. So to everybody out there, have a good morning, have a great afternoon, and a fantastic evening. Namaste.